Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced on Friday that he plans to repeal a set of controversial agricultural laws following a year of protests by Indian farmers. The farmers claim the laws weakened government support of small farmers and made them vulnerable to corporate agriculture. Although government officials have agreed to meet with protest leaders to discuss following steps, it is unclear if the government will accept additional demands to impose a minimum crop price. However, Modi must mend ties with a strong farmer voter base in Uttar Pradesh as his Bharatiya Janata Party prepares for next year's elections in India's most populous state. On Tuesday, explosions rocked the Ugandan capital city of Kampala after two suicide bombings. One blast struck near the parliament building and the other went off close to a police station. Tuesday's tragedy comes after a harrowing string of suicide attacks on October 23rd and 25th. Ugandan police believe the perpetrators to be members of the Allied Democratic Forces, a militant Islamist group that pledged allegiance to the Islamic State in 2019. The ADF has expressed its opposition to Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who they accuse of using government forces to persecute Muslims. Originally formed in Uganda in the late 90s, but now in the neighboring DRC, the group is but one example of an expanding Islamic State influence in Central Africa. With attacks increasing in frequency, expect this region to be ripe for the expansion of terrorist networks in the future as they continue to be driven out of the Middle East. US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping met through a virtual summit on Monday. Biden recently abandoned the long-held American position of strategic ambiguity in regards to Taiwan, stating that the US would intervene if China attempted to take the island by force. Despite these tensions, some amiability still exists in the relationship, with the two countries recently signing a climate change prevention pact. Regarding Taiwan, expect Xi to continue warning the US against meddling in China's regional affairs. While this is unlikely to sway Biden's Taiwan stance, Washington has already eased its diplomatic pressure on China's human rights abuses. On economic relations, former President Trump's trade war was put to an end at Monday's meeting, following the easing of similar restrictions with the EU and South Korea. Expect more civil exchanges between Biden and Xi, prioritizing cooperation on critical international issues such as climate change.